All right, hopefully it sounds great, because that's the only card. It says we're live. That's the only card I have up my sleeve. So. Nope. Only card.
Really?
Says we're live. That's the only card I have up my sleeve. So. Well, that's disappointing. I really have no idea why it's doing that. All right, well, I took a recording because you can either stream or record, and I hit record, and it sounded just fine. So something, when it's on its way to YouTube, is it's not liking it. My outgoing bitrate sounds fine. Goodness. All right.
How did Ben Shapiro fix that problem?
I don't know. All I know is their stream shut off, and then it started up 2 minutes later, and he glares at the camera, and it's just like the smoothly running, well-oiled machine that is a Daily Wire, and then they kept going, and so I don't know. And you're sitting there aghast with your mouth hanging open. Alrighty. So, where were we, Joe? You reconnected to me?
I'm waiting for a connection request.
Interesting. I sent one. I will send another. While we're doing this, like I said, we are going to be talking about video games today, specifically, intentionally in a. See, what did I tell you? Yeah, it's up. Specifically in a positive light. Display this one. So let us know in the chat what your favorite video games were, specifically positive experiences. Not like hours logged. Like, this game changed my life. Because if you've ever played a game, you know some of them can really affect you. And I'll tell you my my story about my life-changing game experiences. All right. Where were we? Awesome. All back. I'm sure it sounds fantastic. So this... Oh, no, not... There it is. That's Amelia Earhart. Disappeared in what year? XCOM, Enemy Unknown.
1937.
1937.
There's another picture of her down here.
On the left, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you look over this at all?
What?
The story. I read this yesterday, but it was a different story, so I don't know what it specifically goes over.
I
in this one.
honestly read a different story as well, and I can't
Okay.
find it.
I've been sending my things to my
but,
laptop
I mean,
for some reason.
The gist,
Anyway, the gist
is
they found bones.
well, they had actually found these bones not long after her disappearance, on an island, or on an island between, her destination and where she left, and they had determined using their older methods that could not be her because the bones belonged to that of a man, and they determined it was a big muscular man, and apparently re-examining the evidence with our new techniques for identifying, I think it's like forensic something to do with bones.
Forensic anthropology. That's what the lady on Bones does. Bones.
And they determined there's actually very, very strong evidence now that points to that is her final resting place, because the description fits her pretty well. It's one gender, or I guess sex, and height, I think.
So it's interesting. All this time, We didn't know where she was, but we had her bones. So it's like needle in a haystack rather than just like, I lost my needle and I don't know where. So we didn't know where she was, but we had her.
Oh yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's lots of speculation. The world, this worldwide interest, because she was trying to fly around the globe.
The world, yeah.
right?
She was trying to circumnavigate, not circumvent. Trying to circumnavigate the globe. Oof, that was interesting. Getting some good responses in the chat. Excellent.
What was the question you asked?
I asked what their favorite experience with video games was.
Ah,
So
yeah, I saw someone mention Portal 2.
yeah, Portal 2.
That definitely has very memorable experiences.
Yeah, Cave Johnson. So, yeah.
I still don't see anything on this.
Oh, I thought you kept pointing at the chat. Thank you.
Right.
I was like, I got it. I see him. I got it.
Thanks.
Got it. There it goes. Yeah. Sweet. Oh, that's not in full screen either.
See if I can find the.
You know, it's funny. I actually had time to get all of this set up, and everything was like good to go. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we rolled right at 8 o'clock, and then I closed it all down, and all my windows were closed, and my tabs didn't reopen properly, and I'm like, well, I was useless. I'm never getting prepared again. There's no point. All right.
Well, I couldn't find. I looked on dictionary.com for word of the day.
No word of the day. The word of the day is whammon.
What?
The word of the day is whammon.
Is that our way of celebrating?
It's a respectful way to refer to women.
Oh, really?
Whammon. Yeah.
According to who?
Yeah. PewDiePie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the source. He's the authority on that, is he?
He invented the word whammon.
I'm sure he did.
How to respect women. Yeah. I can't find it. No,
Anyway,
definitely.
What
is the word of the
day on dictionary.com is demonym.
Demonym?
Yes.
What's that look like? You gotta
It looks like
got it pulled up in a window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really. I mean, I can't really think of many. Oops, that is not what I meant to do. Stop. I can't think of many circumstances I would use it, but basically, just it's a word that describes the word that says where someone's from. So, like, if I say,
Meta.
I'm from New Jersey, if I'm a New Jerseyan, that's New Jerseyan is a demonym.
Like a Texan.
Yeah. Yeah. The example in here is for residents of Michigan, Michigander, and Michiganian.
Michiganian. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody in the chat, let us know what they call you, where you're from. There's some weird ones. I don't remember what, but what state was it?
Weird state? Or...
No, it was not. It was a province in Canada, and they're like, we are. Oh, it's not Toronto. It's not
Alberta.
What's the French Canadian one? Quebec. In French they call. He's like, I am Quebecois, and I'm like, what? And he's like, yes, I'm a proud Quebecois, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I never would have. I think a guy who's from Quebec, who's American, or not American, English speaking. He speaks American, but he's in Quebec. I think you called it Quebecan or something. What do they call that? Quebecan. Quebeca? No.
Quebeca. Sounds like a name.
That's in South Africa. Quebecy. No, I can't find it. I'm not gonna dig at that. Interesting. Demonym. Let us know your favorite demonyms or your personal demonyms.
Earthling.
Is that like pronouns? If you demograph me, what do you call that? Demonym, demo. That's the same as demograph, right? Demos, people.
Same root?
Greek,
Yeah,
I assume.
Probably. Greek? Word or
I
English?
identify as a Michiganian. Respect it.
You
No. It was an
okay.
example. Yeah, I was trying it on for size. I didn't like it. The only other video games I've ever played were Star Wars something. Perfect. I've played Star Wars something too. And
too.
just recently Portal. Amor Pizza played Portal recently.
Right.
Let's see.
Play Portal 2.
I'm from
Amazing.
Joey D.
Oh my gosh, I hate it when people
What
say
do you
Jersey.
call people from Jersey? What do people from New Jersey call?
Depends on what area. Are you from South Jersey?
South Jersey. I'm Jerseyan.
Ratchet. No. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Good one. Yes, Ratchet. If you don't know that expression, it comes from here. So you're called Utards. Yes.
Oh man.
South of where we were from, we called Utards. All right. Demonym. Respect people's demonyms, please. Let's be respectful.
Yeah, we just say South Jersey. I'm from South
Yeah,
Jersey.
I'm from
We
Jersey.
don't say Jerseyan or at least not to each other.
Jersonian.
Jersonian.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
happy International Women's Day.
Yes, happy International Women's Day. For all you international women, be happy it's your day.
That would be everybody.
McDonald's did their upside down W, not upside down W.
Oh, I saw that.
They turned their golden
Upside
arches
down
upside
W.
down because it's International Women's Day and it's supposed to be a W instead of an M. It just looked like a joke. It looked weird. I don't know. Like that's like their flag. Like you don't
That's
turn
an
you
interesting
don't
idea.
fly your flag upside down. Like that's disrespectful. Unless it's like
It's
time
a
of
logo,
crisis,
it's a
right? I don't know.
logo.
Time of crisis. I know.
I thought that was clever.
I thought it was interesting, but isn't it International Women's Day every year?
Yeah.
Why come they never did that before?
They didn't have the idea.
Yeah. Just
I
this year
think,
they're
I
like,
think the question is, are they going to do it next year?
they're going to have to.
No.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to. If next year they don't do it, everybody's going to be like, would you guys stop respecting women? What the heck? Seriously. McDonald's, keep it together. I saw a bunch of people typing McDonald's today. WC.
Really?
McDonald's, yeah. Wiki D's. Yeah. What's the deal with that? International Women's Day.
You mean the history?
Yeah. History of women. No, International Women's Day. When was that started? I'm curious. Last year at the Women's March?
No, it's
No,
been
I'm kidding.
around for-
I'm kidding.
no.
Women's Day.com. Let's look at this real quick. Let's. Oh, I'm not sure I'm allowed to.
What?
Just looks very foreboding. Stop.
How will you? What was the hashtag? How will you what?
How will
Press
you
for progress.
hashtag press for progress?
So she's pressing.
International Women's Day. Is that how you press for progress? Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe that's how she presses for progress.
Must
I
be.
wonder if that's a pun, like also referring to media, like press attention.
Hey, press for
Yeah.
progress. It's like Moms Against Drunk Driving or something like that.
Yeah.
Press for progress.
Yeah, I like that.
Interesting. Just adjusting this a bit so I can actually see it. Nope. Brightness. There we go. There we go. Now we can see that. Don't know why that always pops up funky. All right, March 8th. International Women's Day. Oh, click here to take action. I wonder what that does. We won't press it. You never press a random button. Even if it says what it says, you have to be able to test it first. Time to nothing. International Women's Day. Global Day to celebrate. Ah, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Explain to me what's going on. Website. International Women's Day, March 8th, is a global day celebrated celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerated gender parity. International Women's Day, IWD for short, has occurred for well over a century. Interesting. See, that was close to what I was asking, but it doesn't say.
Did you see the chat?
No, it doesn't say watt to watt. Pull up a watt meme for me. Seriously, like one that has like 8 heads on it. Find something. Today, International Women's Day belongs to all groups collectively everywhere. Wait, I missed some. Sorry. The first march supported over 1 million people in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. Prior to this, the Socialist Party of America, United Kingdom suffragist. What? This is a socialist holiday? What's this? Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Prior to this, the Socialist Party of America, United Kingdom suffragists and suffragettes, and further groups campaigned for women equality. Okay, that makes sense. They were campaigning before this, and then this happened, and gotcha. Not technically, but they did reference them. Today, thanks. Today, International Women's Day belongs to all groups collectively everywhere, even men. Well, that's nice. International Women's Day is not country, group, or organization specific. Wait. Is it gender specific, though? Make International Women's Day your day, every day. Sweet. Cool. Interesting. But now that they have the right to vote, do we need International Women's Day? Just kidding. There you go. Good one. I like it.
Watt to watt.
Watt to watt. All right, we should do it too. Yeah, we're not doing that. Hold on.
By the way,
Oh.
do you know who? I actually don't know how to say her name. I assume it's Malala. She's that.
I think it's Malala.
Malala.
Malala la la.
Well, that's too many.
La la
laws.
la la.
But she. Do you know who she is?
No idea.
She became famous for standing up for women's rights. She got shot by the Taliban and survived. And she's also I think she might have received a Nobel Prize. But anyway, there's a fun. She's a great leader in the world, and she's spoken at many high profile conferences, and is doing a lot to stand up for women and women's rights in the world.
Where did you say she was from? Sorry.
Where is she from? I'm not sure. She was shot by the Taliban, so I assume somewhere in the Middle East.
Safe assumption.
Actually,
or Paris.
My grandmom on my mom's side just gave me a book that I've been wanting to read. It's written by her, has her on the title. I can go grab that real quick if you want to show.
Oh, sure, yeah. Go for it. Ooh. What was that?
Fan.
I'm just going to sit here and talk to Joe's avatar as if he's still here. Although he's not.
Pretend I'm still here.
I'll pretend you're still here. Oh, hey. I am Malala. It says, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. And her last name is, I can tell why, I know why she
Begins
goes
with
my
a Y.
Malala.
Begins with a Y, right?
Yeah, it's Yousafzai.
Yeah, I think it's a really good book. I haven't read it yet, though.
Looks fairly used.
Yeah. Good books are used.
International Women's Day. Chat, let us know. Who's your favorite woman? Or to put it more specifically, your favorite I had this phrase in my head and now it's gonna, your favorite person who's a female who you found inspiring, who you're not directly connected to. Celebrity, Susan B. Anthony, Sacagawea,
So basically, you're saying you can't cop out. and say
Lois
your
Lane.
mom.
You can't say your mom. Obviously, everybody's mom is, their mom. So, no. Tell us your favorite. And Wonder Woman doesn't count. It has to be historical. All right.
She's not historical.
I read the most infuriating thing.
I know you're saying not fictional.
No, yes, of course. I read the most infuriating thing on a movie review. So there's this movie, right, called Leap. It was released in France, I think 2016. Came out in America in 2017. Not the best movie. It's animated. Looks like it was made in like 2004. Not the best animation. The story is just awful. It's about a ballet dancer who's like an orphan, who isn't really a ballet dancer. She just likes to dance. She like dance all the time, like to an annoying degree. It's just always dancing around everywhere. And then she escapes from the orphanage and goes to France and like gets to dance first position because she dances really well. Like there's a really weird story arc to it, or a lack thereof. But this review was pointing out the historical inaccuracies because it was around 1888, right? And it was in France, and they had the Statue of Liberty being constructed next to the Eiffel Tower. They were both about half done because they were like, "Hey, France, the Eiffel Tower's half up," and the Statue of Liberty, which by that time the Statue of Liberty was already in America, and secondly, it was green, and the Statue of Liberty was not originally green. It turned green from oxidation.
Yeah.
Oxidation. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's copper.
Yeah, whatever copper does in the sun, it changed.
And
It changed.
salt water.
And so yeah, salt spray from the thing. So yeah, it was like, you didn't do your homework here. And like the whole time the girl was running around in like what you'd see a ballerina wearing in her off days these days, like black leggings and jeans shorts, which was not a thing in France in 1888. denim shorts. So it was a weird movie. But then there was a response to this to this review that was like, it was your historical inaccuracies kind of threw it off for me. And people were like, oh my gosh, it's a cartoon. It's not real. And the attitude that because it's not real, therefore all rules can be broken and you can't complain because it's technically not based on fact. Just that attitude right there. So it's got stuck in my craw. So thanks for letting me get that out. I can't see the bottom of the chat for some reason in the window when it's like this.
Yeah, well, that one.
Madame Curie? Is that Madame Curie?
Madam?
Yeah, I've always heard him called like Madame Curie. Am I thinking of the wrong person? Marie Curie? Marie Curie? Mary Curie? I don't know.
Yeah,
Who is that?
She's done a lot of work with in chemistry. With radioactive elements.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Isn't she called Madame Curie, or is people just pronounce that so weird? I always thought it was Madame Curie.
Maybe she's referred to as.
Yes, Madame Curie. That's.
I remember learning about her
Ooh,
in high
where's my
school,
thing?
and I think she's done so much amazing. Yeah, radium. She's done so much work. Or such great work that I forget what university it was. But they said anyone with the last name of Curie could
Really?
attend free of charge, I think.
Could you legally change your name?
The guy who married her changed his last name instead of her changing her last name. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That's funny. Marie Curie facts. Let's tangentialize over here, shall we?
Batman says, "Madame" just means Miss in a
I
nice
know,
way.
but we're always referred to that way. When you said Marie Curie, Mary Curie, it didn't ring a bell because I've always, for some reason, heard it referred to as Madame Curie. Right. Here's some facts about Marie
Nuclear
Curie.
physics, nuclear physics.
What's that?
That's the field.
1867, Warsaw, Russian Empire, which is now Poland. Let's get that straight. 4th of July, died on the 4th of July 1934. Prize in motivation. No, prize motivation. Ha ha ha, her prize. She got a prize in motivation. Field nuclear physics. Yeah. Interesting. Life. Work. That's it? All right.
There's
well,
plenty more to it. This is probably just a summary.
Facts, biography, Nobel lecture, nominations, documentary, blah, 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 Nobel Prize in chemistry, other resources, questions, answers. Interesting. When did she die? How did she die? Wasn't it radio poisoning?
Scroll up, Tad.
My words are not coming together tonight. What?
Scroll up, Tad, from where you were.
When did she die?
She died of aplastic anemia, a blood disease that often results from exposure to large amounts of radiation.
Thank you. There it is. Good.
We
good.
just didn't know how radiation affects us.
I always wonder.
Thanks to people like her
Mhm.
and her work, they advanced that field, like immensely. What were you saying?
I always wonder about like scientific stuff like that, where it's like vaping. This is a better way. It hasn't hurt anyone yet. We don't know. Maybe 30 years of
It actually
exposure.
has, but
No. I mean like in the same manner, but maybe 30 years after, anyone who's been anywhere near it dies some horrible death, but it takes 30 years to like gestation period in your bloodstream or something. We won't know. We didn't then, and hopefully we're not all taking that role of thanks for letting us know this kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes I worry about that in 3D printing because it creates
Really?
a lot of well, it creates a lot of nanoparticles, and we're not, the field of nanoscale materials is not like terribly established. We don't like the stuff on a nanoscale, like on a scale that small, has more unique effects than to like their larger scale molecules or counterparts.
So everybody,
that's why I moved our printer out of the house.
be afraid. Smart. Be
Just in
afraid
case.
of everything until told otherwise. So they used to make glow-in-the-dark watches, radioactive material before they knew it was bad. The girls Thad made, the watches all died from radiation. I assume that says poisoning. Poisoning later in their lives. Why is that? That's not good.
Yeah, you got it right.
I did not know that. All right. This next story comes to us from The Verge.
Is this our blame game?
This is playing the blame game. Playing the blame game. There you go. Trump. Been a while since we talked directly about Trump. But then we're just going to shift, from him real quickly. The White House meeting on video game violence was unproductive and bizarre. There is some programming that contains just absolute mind-boggling violence. Is that a quote from Trump? It doesn't say. It'll probably say later. Today, meaning actually today, President Trump brought together top executives of the gaming industry, parents, groups, and members of Congress for a meeting to discuss violence in video games. Announced last week as part of President Trump's response to the Parkland shooting, the meeting was hastily assembled and has been criticized as purposeful distraction from more concrete gun control measures. The proceedings were closed to the press, but by all accounts, the meeting was a strange one. The president opened the meeting by showing a supercut of hyper-violent gameplay scenes compiled from...
That says gameplay, by the way.
Oh. I almost missed the second from. Hyper-violent gameplay scenes compiled from Twitch and YouTube streams, a compilation that was later posted to the White House's official YouTube account. According to the Washington Post, and the president asked the group, "This is violent, isn't it?" After the video ended. Alrighty then.
That's the meeting.
Oh. There you go. Sniper, yeah, so that's what they did at the meeting, and then he probably excoriated. Different thing.
Yeah, that sounds a bit different.
Yeah. He excoriated. We shall extol. So one thing I want to mention about this off the top, being an avid supporter of the medium, the storytelling and artistic recreational exercise medium of video games when enjoyed responsibly. This always frustrates when I first hear it. We're gonna blame video games because they're just too violent, and they may be too violent. But then to blame people's, that's what I'm saying. There may be games that are too violent to be like then appropriate, but then to say that that results in people being violent, there's been no actual study to support that. However, this time around, it kind of dawned on me that there are some people, even though they're probably wrong and looking in the wrong areas for answers, there are some people in this country who think that's true, right? There are some people who think after this happened, this kind of thing that happened in Florida happens, they think we have to get rid of all these violent video games. This is the problem, right? Well, Trump is their president too. Go with me on this. And the act of looking into this and bringing these people in here and going, some people in America think this is a big deal and that this is a problem. What are you going to do about it? Is that him being ridiculous and what did they say? Changing purposeful distraction. Is this a purposeful distraction, or on some level, does it behoove the President of the United States to look into all the different facets of things that people are concerned about? So if there are people who are concerned that maybe violent video games cause these kinds of things, it would behoove the president, who is their president, who does represent them, to look into this as they would have him do if they were in charge. Because he's not creating a law about it. Not yet. When he does, I'll complain. He's not creating a law about it specifically. He's not specifically prioritizing it over other things. He did have a big meeting about, let's write a bill, let's make it the big bill, we'll put everything in it, and we'll put this in it, and your thing, and got everybody together and went, we're going to talk about this, start putting legislation together, give me something to sign. And then he moved on to this. So it's not like this was his first reaction. Is that what do you think about that? Is that something a president should do?
What, talk about things?
Go through these specific individual problems, even though those are unfounded worries that people have. Technically, they're scientifically unfounded. There's been no scientifically found link in any study showing that the more violent video games you play, the more likely you are to be violently aggressive in your real life. So
there might be studies suggesting that.
There haven't been any conclusive studies. Are there studies that suggest that? I haven't looked at them. I've just heard a lot of people say, and of course that's the side I want to believe, so I don't look any farther.
I think you're trying to it's the opposite though, or it's the, what do you call it, the converse, the inverse, that if you say the reason that these things are caused is because of video games. Video games can lead to people being more inclined to violence or more desensitized.
I agree with that. Maybe I'm stating
mean,
it in a slightly backward manner. Yes. School shootings are not caused by video games. Essentially what I was trying to say. But that being said, does it behoove the president to look into that? Because people say, hey, why aren't we doing anything about this? And he goes, you may have a point, you may not, but hey, I'm your president too. Let's look into this. Am I reaching too far with that?
No, I mean,
like, should he also like investigate lizard people and try and figure out if the Earth is flat? I mean, there's obviously a line where that, you know, we're not bothering about that because you're wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe he sees if enough people care about it, then he'll address it. Maybe that's, you know, if you have a large enough demographic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess it's, you know, a noisy, squeaky wheel. So I want to talk about video games a little bit in the time we had left. Not necessarily about that meeting. I think that's one factor that may or may not play into a larger thing, and I don't think the government should start regulating that as much as, oh gee, this is why I'm not on here. Rating system. That's why they have a rating system for those kinds of things. Which one of the people he had in there was the president of the, what is it, ESRB?
Yeah.
Yeah. The people who rate the video games and tell you who should and shouldn't watch them. What I found interesting was Trump was like, my 11-year-old son is like watching these things and playing these games. And I'm like, you're his dad. If you don't want him watching these things or playing these things, shouldn't you be stopping him? My thought anyway. I think that should be up to the parents to to judge whether or not kids should play these things. And then when you're an adult, what do you
having
disagree?
worked in the electronics section of Walmart for a part of my life, I've seen that parents are pretty oblivious to even that the rating system exists, or like what the ratings mean. They just let their kids, like, oh, you know, everyone plays Grand Theft Auto. Sure, I'll get that for you.
Really?
Probably every teen. I mean, even for maybe a couple kids under 13. Yeah, it's So I mean, there is a rating system, but I don't think people want to, you know, not gonna let that.
Well, that speaks to society's failure of parenting more than it does to video game companies. What are your thoughts on that, Joe?
On what?
Violence in video games. Do
you not prefer it?
You don't prefer it? Have you
No.
ever? Do you like avoid first-person shooter? Like, your job is kill the other team as quickly as possible.
I was honestly raised to avoid first-person shooters. My mom
Really?
did not like games like that, so I didn't. But I mean, there were games, I guess, more like I didn't like the first-person perspective. It's just I'm terrible with it. I like bird's eye view, like third person. So I mean, I have played games like Age of Empires or Civilization, and that involves
Kind of, yeah.
Age of Empires is kind of, I mean, it's...
No, I mean, like, there's obviously a lot of killing, but you're not really doing the killing. You're just bidding the people.
Yeah, but
go
I mean,
destroy that village.
Blood and gore and villagers. And
yeah. Oh, I mean, like, maybe that might even be more psychologically damaging. You know, someone like Kim Jong Un like spent his childhood like wrecking civilizations with other civilizations, and he's like, that was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's see. There's that game Black and White that you can actually choose to be good or evil.
mm-hmm.
I think I usually try to choose to be good. I mean, even though it's a fictional environment, I feel like it's still, I still always try and go for the hero side. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask a more specific question,
I like
for violence.
because me personally, I have always disconnected the two. Well, to some degree, obviously, there's a scene in Modern Warfare 2 where you're undercover, and you're like supposed to be enacting like that. You're part of in this terrorist cell, undercover, and then they go to like do this act of terrorism, and you're with them undercover, and it's like super like uncomfortable and awkward because they're like, "Come on, let's go kill people," and you're like, this is weird." Yeah. They actually give you an option at the beginning of the game. They say there are uncomfortable, I forget how they phrase it, but they say there are parts of this game that you may find extremely uncomfortable. If you would like to avoid those, you can just tell us now. We'll skip them, but you're not going to be asked again after this point. So are you okay with this game getting a little uncomfortable? And it wasn't like Grand Theft Auto where, you go carjack people, you run up and throw a guy out of his car and drive off with his car kind of thing, or whatever else you do in Grand Theft Auto. Never played it.
Good, don't,
So-
because
so
there
that-
are actually some really, especially in the newer one. I got to see my cousin, got to see my young cousin play.
Well, essentially, like you're a
It's like a storyline.
gangster, thief. What do you call it? A criminal. You're like a career criminal. And it's your job to just go around being a bad person.
There's literally a part where you have to choose a weapon to torture someone with.
What?
Yeah.
See, I've never played it.
You can't avoid it. There's no
Had-
possible way to get around it.
Had I played that game, I would probably feel a little bit differently. But like I said, in Modern Warfare they play it as Modern Warfare is an interesting game. The campaign of it, because it obviously does its best to try and be all artistic and like, I don't know, super deep about the idea of warfare, because it's like, you're I forget. I can't give you the exact examples right now. It's been a while since I played it. But going off of that one, if you were in this situation, which is a situation, puts you in multiple different situations soldiers find themselves in. That one was particularly upsetting for two reasons. One, because you're in this terrorist cell who's going and like enacting terror on people. And then two, at the end of that scene, spoiler alert, they kill you because they knew that you were a spy. So like they pull you up into the truck to get away, and then they just shoot you and you die, and then you're a different person in the next scene. So it's jarring in that way, but it's intentionally jarring. It's not glorifying and reveling in it. It's like, this is some of it. Come here and experience some of the uncomfortable things to some small degree that some people in the military at some point have had to go through. And it's like I said, it's not like, yeah, I love that mission, let's play it again. It's like, whew, that was a trip. Yeah, I could not play that scene. I had to skip it, is what Ben said. Shooting up an airport just isn't my cup of tea. Yeah. Who is this? Said Amor Pizza said the only thing I could support in way of laws is requiring ID to purchase movies and games rated for adults. I got carded for Diablo 2, says Ben. I was there for that. We needed an extra copy of Diablo 2. And Deb, luckily, had driven us to Walmart. And they're like, you need to have an ID. You have to be an adult to buy this because it's an M rating, mature. So she bought it for us. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we should not have been playing it. I don't know. Let's see. Is that something that still happens illegally? It should, yes. I worked at Hollywood Video and carded quite a few children trying to get rated M games. Oh, yeah, good for you, Batman. Uh, yep. Last couple of years. Let's see. Yeah, skipped it to not my thing. Yeah. Speaking of games that put you in a position of, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about here for a sec. The difference between watching a movie and playing a video game is if Modern Warfare were a movie, it would not be like interesting. Because we've all seen movies like, yeah, they're soldiers and they go and they kill people and they rescue other people and they shoot down a helicopter and, you know, it's like typical stuff. But you have to actually do it. So it's a lot more
In a video game.
in a video game. In a video game, the difference is you have to actually go do these things yourself. So it kind of is more, I don't know, emotionally involved. So it can be very interesting because you're simulating whatever it is the person is doing. Eckert says you can't disconnect the two. If science has proven, whoa. Okay. Whew. I thought I'd missed a bunch of chats that had scrolled up a bit. Eckert says you can't disconnect the two. If science has proven that mental rehearsing can build the same muscle memory as actual practice in most regards, I think it is a little naive to think that mentally. I'm assuming he's typing another comment. Voyaging through slaughtering innocent people won't leave a lasting impression on your mind. Yes, but quite possibly it has the opposite effect of that. Because, let's see, you said mental rehearsing can build the same muscle memory as actual practice in most regards. But they're not talking necessarily about like someone's ability to do combat more than like someone's becoming desensitized to violence. Voyaging through slaughtering innocent people won't leave a lasting impression on our mind. There is an insane amount senseless violence where a mind can learn to take pleasure and get endorphin shots from heinous acts. Not gonna argue with that. It left the impression that I wouldn't want to do it. Is the point kind of that I was making, where, like you said, you skipped it because you were like, yeah, this is not something I want to go through. I imagine the people who did were like that, you know, felt icky, which was the idea of putting that in the game. I felt like watching Criminal Minds. I feel like that watching Criminal Minds. Wow. I feel like watching Criminal Minds has deadened my sensitivity. All of this has been proven by science, not just compiled into a single study. Yep. No, like I said, I'm not saying that it doesn't. Well, case in point, me and my dad and my brothers used to play Counter-Strike with each other all the time, and then we went and played paintball for the first time, and we did quite well. Because it was the same kind of, I mean, very different mouse and keyboard to actually running through shooting people, but the strategies and techniques were the same, and so we actually did quite well fighting military personnel on a military base in their recreational paintball course, if I do say so myself. But for someone who would tend to do those things, it could reinforce that behavior and make it easier to act out in real life. That's a very good point, Amor Pizza. It might not necessarily teach someone to... It may not cause a normal person to become psychotic, but it certainly might teach a psychotic person that they enjoy that. So true. We killed it at paintball. Yes, we did. So... going along the lines of video games helping you experience something and getting the first-hand experience, there's this game, which I may have talked about several times on the show before, called Life is Strange. And the basic premise is you're an 18-year-old girl, and you find out you have the power to reverse time for like 60 seconds. But you can only do it like 60 seconds back. So if you wait, 2 minutes, you can't go back 2 minutes. So the idea of the game is it's an adventure style game. The idea of the game is you can make a decision and then see the immediate effects of it, and then you have like a minute to decide whether you want to continue into the future having made that decision, or you can go back and try different ones and see the immediate effects of them, but then after that you have to live with the decision you made. But what made this game particularly interesting, I'm starting to get ahead of the chat. I'll just finish this thought. What made the game particularly interesting was that it brought up a lot of issues particular to somebody who was like 18 and female, and then was like, how would you handle this? And then showed you the repercussions, and then like different options of how to handle it. Seeing your friend being intimidated by a security guard. So like one of the other students, the security guard was like, had her backed in a corner and was like yelling at her or whatever, and you have the option of like going over there and being like, hey, you let her go, or like just leaving. And you pay a hefty price for that later, because that girl was like suffering from a lot of like bullying and abuse, and that was like the last straw. And in the next scene, she jumps off a rooftop, and you go up there to stop her, and then the game goes one of two ways. It says, you say like, hey, some people do care about you. And she says, you mean like earlier? I saw you walk away when that guy had me backed against the wall and was yelling at me. If you cared, you would have done something. And then she jumps off the roof. And then you have to relive, in the game, you have to live with the decision that you made earlier. Should I go help this person or should I not? And you don't know what second time through you do. But you don't know what the repercussion is going to be. And so it's a very interesting game in that perspective. But yeah, so it points out a lot of the importance of the decisions you make. Big changes like that. Someone, life or death that you didn't think about in the previous scene. But it also goes into like what it's like to some degree, I imagine, what it's like being an 18-year-old girl. Like you get kidnapped by this serial killer, and you have to like escape. And it's really like uncomfortable because it's not just, you're not just watching. It's like Ben said, Criminal Minds episode. You're like in a Criminal Minds episode, and you're trying to escape from this creepy guy who like, has you tied up. And it's more, I don't know, gives you a bit of, to whatever degree it can, gives you a bit of respect for how difficult and complicated and scary it might be to be that small and that, I don't know, prone to being overpowered by pretty much anybody. There's no physical violence in the whole game. You're not like going around punching people. You can't. You're this tiny little person. So I found it pretty, can't think of the word I'm trying to say. I found it kind of eye-opening. Enlightening. Thank you. I found it very enlightening being a tiny little 18-year-old girl and being helpless in all of these situations and trying to just like having all these things happen and being like, wow, that sucks. More so than, watching it, being it. It was like traumatic because it was like I was
put you in the shoes.
Yeah, as close as it probably could. But it was like these things were happening to me, and it's like, struggle, get away. Oh, you didn't struggle hard enough. You died. I struggled. I swear I did. All right, I missed a lot of the chat. I moved on without you guys. Yes, Ben said found good cover. Does having a violent outlet help someone who is prone to violence? No. No, it doesn't. I'm not going to try and cite studies on that or whatever, but there are lots of things where people say, well, what if just simulation will help
yeah, I've seen those
satisfy my need.
Violent rooms, like where you can just smash and beat stuff up. Seems like a good idea to some people. But
smash and beat stuff up is, okay. Smash and beat stuff up is one thing. But, like, here's a bunch of dummies. slice them into bits with a knife. Like that's, you know, I feel the need to kill someone. Well, just pretend to kill someone. That's different. You know, getting out aggression and pantomiming murder. Do you not like the idea of an aggression room where people just go in there and smash things and scream and yell? It sounds like adult temper tantrums to me.
I don't. It's. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's as bad as what you just mentioned, but I feel like for me personally, like at least when I had trouble with temper, I don't think that would have helped me. So. In the long run.
Yeah. Let's see. It makes a difference. It blurs the line between right and wrong. Chemistry. Good question. Amor said, this reminds me a lot of the gun debate. It's not about guns are bad. It's about how can we keep guns away from the people that shouldn't have them. True. I think that's kind of the line between where I've been talking about and the pushback I've been getting from Eckert. As far as I've found in studying, people with violent tendencies aren't encouraged to vent violence, but to vent it through rigorous physical activity. Yes, violence, as far as to the amount that I've studied human psychology, violence is usually a reaction to poorly processed emotion. Unless it's like self-defense. Self-defense violence is all very different. But like aggressive, angry violence is usually just poorly processed emotion that the brain doesn't know what to do with. And so rigorous physical activity not only helps with your brain chemistry, but it also helps discharge all that negative energy. Eckerd, I dislike any time where I had to play as the bad guy. Yep. I remember, what game was that? You, me, and Matt were playing. It was
wasn't Counter-Strike?
No, it was like Cops and Robbers.
Oh, that game.
Yeah, it was free to play online. It was Cops and Robbers. It was
All Post Bulletin.
All Points Bulletin. Yeah, All Points Bulletin. APB. And it sucked. I swear they did this on purpose. It was so boring playing as the cops because you were waiting for someone to commit a crime somewhere, like break into the ATM and take the money. And so some players, massive online multiplayer game, some players who were on the bandit side, I forget what they called them, the robbers, would like go to a random ATM and they start like hacking into it with the little like push F to hack the ATM. And then somebody else would get an alert. Some random player would get assigned to your case. Like the operator would be like, dispatch, someone's robbing a thing. And so you'd have to go stop them. But it was just a lot more fun to go like, all right, we'll pick a spot, we'll crack it open, we'll grab it, throw it in the van. Joe was our getaway driver, which is a little ironic, but he was a really good getaway driver. And then we'd hop in the van and we drive away. But it's like playing as the cops, you wait around for somebody to like plan a job and then pull it off, and you're like, wait, come back here. Oh, dang it, they got away. No, you come back. Oh, dang, they got away. It was really difficult and not very fun. So like I had only played as them a couple of times. So I was like, hey guys, let's play this game. And then we were just running around committing crimes. And it's like, yeah, this isn't as fun as a group activity as I'd hoped. Not like Dungeons and Dragons,
which we have yet to get together, but we're starting to organize.
Yes, we've been organizing for anyone who's interested, let me know. We're trying to figure out a great forum for getting into Dungeons and Dragons with other Matt, who isn't here. We've started creating characters. I've been looking at people playing it online. Not the Dungeons and Dragons Online, because that's a video game and it's pretty much Diablo with the name Dungeons and Dragons to try and get people to play it, but actual, roll the 20-sided dice. 20-sided die. So, just an aside. If you're interested, hit me up. Where did I take it? Let's see. It's like a drug. Yes. Oh, gee. Wow. Wow, it's 9:05 already. Let me just finish these chats and I'll let's see. It's like a drug. Eventually, you need more to get high. That's what I was talking about. That's exactly what I was talking about. I can only speak to my own experience that I've never felt more violent after playing a video game because you're probably psychologically sound. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I don't feel violent after playing a video game. Never felt more violent after playing a video game. Interesting. Usually a result of fear. Yep. What was the one? Fallout. What was... I was going to ask the game... I'm scrolling back up to see the answers to the original question. XCOM Enemy Unknown. Never played that. What type of game is that, Ben? You stated that. And of course, Dark Forces, the original Star Wars PC game from 1995. It was my first game I ever owned, Dark Forces. Very good. Very good game. Very bad graphics. Fallout. Is that all Fallout or Fallout 4? Because somebody I know has a lot of hours clocked in Fallout 4. Not saying it's you, but I'm not saying it's not. Ben and I played Portal 2 together early in our relationship, and it was pretty awesome. I saw some of that. I saw you guys play. I remember you playing. I don't remember if it was here or what, but I remember you guys playing that, and that is an interesting idea for a couple to play a cooperative game like Portal 2, where you have to work together and time things properly. If you ever played the co-op version of Portal 2?
I actually did the last time I went to Texas with Blaze.
Yeah.
It was something.
Can you imagine doing that with a girl you're dating and being like, let's see how we deal with tricky situations and how well we work together and not argue about who's an idiot? That's a good idea.
Believe it or not, I just deferred to my brother for most. It's like, I do not understand what's going on. Can you explain this part? And, yeah, we worked it out, and yeah, I was able to, offer some insights and like, this is what we need to do, or that's what. I mean, sometimes it's just like we're just going back and forth. It's like, I don't understand. What are we supposed to do? What is the? But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fun date idea if they're into video games.
Well, yeah, what's interesting about that is it's not like, hey, let's go kill zombies together, which is also fun. But it's like literal...
Hey, let's go solve puzzles.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literal problem solving, and it's cooperative problem solving. So it's like, you push this button as I jump through, and right before I get through that hole, you have to shoot that thing. You missed again. Why did you miss? It's not hard. Shoot the thing. It's orange. It's bright. It's like, it's an interesting interactive idea for a couple.
Or you just fried me with that laser for the 10th time.
Yeah.
Wait for me to move before you move that block.
So the last thing I was going to talk about is Minecraft. I'm going to hit on this pretty lightly since we're over time, but I wanted to bring this up. Like Ben was saying about playing Portal 2. I started playing Minecraft with my 4-year-old, and it has been an enlightening experience because, yes, it's been an enlightening experience because in Minecraft, if you've never played it, there are options to play where it's pretty much like Legos. And you can you have all the pieces in your inventory, and you just build whatever you want. And the
whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
Wherever I want.
Wherever, no.
I've actually never played it, but I hope to one day.
It's better than you'd think. It has a reputation for being like really dorky, like, oh, come on, 4-year-olds play that game. But 4-year-olds play with Legos, and we've all seen the giant life-size replicas of cars made from Legos, and we all think those are very cool.
The biggest turnoff for me was that when Minecraft was first came out.
What was the biggest turnoff?
And I guess still is, but there's probably mods. It's just that the just the character. That the character was all blocky, especially the head.
Um,
So if there's a mod to make the character not so annoyingly blocky.
well, it has to be. That's part of it. See, look at this.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That's Minecraft creation somebody made block by block. Yeah, it's
What's the scale? Like, how long would it take to make something like that?
insanely long.
Like, what's
So each one of those little pixels that you see, your character is the height of 2 pixels. So like those blocks are like
so about how tall? From the bottom to the top of that wingtip on the right, how tall would you say that is?
from the bottom of the wingtip to the top of the wingtip.
No, the bottom, like the base to the
Gee,
wingtip.
I don't know, 1,000 blocks maybe.
In height?
Yeah. Okay. So see
Whoa.
that road in the game. That road would be about 40, 50 feet wide.
Really?
Yeah.
Blocks?
Like if you were in the game, it would look like it's about 50 feet wide. Each block is about 2 feet.
Oh.
So
okay.
yeah, so it's not like, yeah, your character your character would be very small. That's huge. That's massive. That's a big deal. So people do things like that, really creative. It's really really impressive what people can do. Like I said, similar to Legos. But what's interesting is there's also a way you can play the game that's called survival mode, where you have health. There's night and day cycles. You have to build tools to actually, chop down the blocks, and you have to, smelt the ore that you find deep in the earth to then make iron tools. And so there's like a big process to it, and it doesn't actually have to involve killing anything. You turn off the bad guys. You just run around looking and digging underground and like a dwarf, trying to find precious metals to make better tools for looking for more things. So I started playing this with my 4-year-old, and he was only playing in creative mode. And so I was like, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try a map in survival mode, which means we have to actually go get everything we're gonna use. When you use your pickaxe to the point where it breaks, we're gonna have to make a new pickaxe. So we better go find some more iron. And if you want a horse to ride really quickly across to that other place, we're gonna have to go find a horse, and we have to train the horse, and then we have to go make a saddle. And so there's this really interesting dynamic playing with your kid a video game where you have to be like partners, like equal partners in what's going on. Because it's like, we're going to build a house. And if me and my 4-year-old in real life were to build a house, he'd be like, can I help? And I'm like, sure. You can hold this box of nails and then hand me one every time I say I need a nail. Whereas in this game, he's like, let's build it like this. And just starts building a wall. Same speed and accuracy and that I can. And so there's a lot more compromise there. And balance as to deciding what we do. And so it's very interesting playing, doing a cooperative activity with my kid that is as...
Almost put you as equals.
Exactly. It's weird. It's weird, but it's healthy and for both of us because, one, he's kind of... I hold him to a pretty specific standard of conduct. Like, I don't want to play with you if you're just going to whack me in the head every time. Every time I'm sitting on the edge of a cliff and you knock me off, that's not fun. It's not fun for me. So I'm not going to play. And so I'm being, he's learning to play nice the same way he would with people his age, but I can be a lot more specific about it. I don't like you when you do that. Don't do that. I don't like you better. But like you said, being as equals, being like, hey, I need you to do this thing, and he's capable of doing it. So like, you build that half of the house, I'll build this half of the house. It's very interesting. It's a quality game, and that's one of the reasons, one of the several things that I wanted to talk about as to why video games can be a very good thing. And I don't know if you guys know this, anybody here, but I last year I got into
VR.
virtual reality. There are so many positive ways that technology can take us as far as I said, understanding, trying to put ourselves in other people's shoes, experiencing things that you wouldn't otherwise experience. And the better technology gets, the more that can go in a positive way or a negative way. I can't imagine. I can't imagine if there was like a playing that Modern Warfare scene in virtual reality. There's just something about it that makes it more real and more able to capture your imagination. So there's a lot of power there, and with great power comes great possibility. And so I'm hoping that goes a lot more in the positive direction. There are a lot of positive things. I think we were talking, what was it? Seasonal affective disorder. I was like, maybe we could just put like sunny day program inside virtual reality goggles, and people who don't get enough sunlight in the winter can experience a sunny day. Apparently it's a little more complicated than that, but it's an idea. It's a start. You know, they're agoraphobia, people with agoraphobia. You can't watch a video of being outside. People who are afraid to agoraphobia.
Afraid of.
People say like agoraphobia, but it's agoraphobia. People who are afraid of leaving their apartment, going outside, being in the real world. People who are like shut-ins. You can watch a video of people walking by you.
Like that guy from that movie, Bill Murray.
I think so.
What about Bob?
I think so. I think that's what he was. But to put on a virtual reality headset and be standing on a street corner and people are walking past looking at you, like it's helpful. There's therapeutic ways to people with PTSD. They've been using that because exposure to things that you're either afraid of or having traumatic experiences with is more helpful than avoiding them. So being able to incrementally, in an extremely controlled manner, and, you know, like, you say shut it off, we shut it off, and we're right back in my office. You're no longer on the street corner. You don't have to have a panic attack. So a lot of positive things. And, you know, technology and video games make us, and video games give us the opportunity to do that rather than Sarah needs a sunny day AR headset. They have a Relaxing on the Beach, a free program for the Vive that is a tiny little personal island with just like a lawn chair and like a little boat like washed up with sand and a palm tree. And so like you see a little airplane go over in the distance, and there's a hot air balloon floating there for some reason. And a little bird comes and just lands on the thing.
Does the airplane have little messages?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's like, save me, I'm stranded on an airplane. Yeah, it would make sense. It's fun for about 5 minutes, but I imagine if I was like super stressed and I'm like, you know what? Deal with that yourself. I can't deal with this anymore. Click in the headphones, just lay back and be like, you can import movies. You can watch your movies in that setting. Just be completely shut off to the
just
world.
have like a little
it has
TV.
a big. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not even TV. It's a floating
TV?
screen.
Oh.
Like it's literally just a bezel-less screen. You want bezel-less screens? They're right there in virtual reality. So, obviously, I need a real sunny day, homie. Training pilots. Yes. Well, there are lots of things. So the opportunities that things like video games can give us as far as a storytelling medium and the experiential opportunities it has are great. They're wonderful. But I appreciate the conversation we had, specifically Eckert, because he's pushing back kind of hard on that. That we need to be careful how these are being utilized for ourselves, for people, people we know. But I want to show you this real quick. Minecraft is the second most sold game ever, with 144 million copies sold. It's worth $2.5 billion. It took 5 days to make the original version, like the beta version. One guy, 5 days. And 4 years after that, he sold it to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. Pretty crazy.
A lot of dollars.
And it is the best-selling game, second only to, any guesses? Anybody, without Googling it. What do you think
What?
is the most top-selling video game of all time? Sold the most copies.
Besides Portal?
Nope.
What category is it in? What kind
Old.
of old?
It's in the category of really old
Are
games.
we talking about PC games or
No.
any game console whatsoever?
Any game console whatsoever.
Tetris.
Yes.
Ah, got it.
It's Tetris. Can you believe that? I don't know why that's even on that list, to be perfectly honest.
I can believe that.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. Whoa, hey
I
there.
see the chat.
Bam. What'd the chat say? I missed it. Plants vs. Zombies. No. All right. So
Ben
Tetris.
says plot twist: people crash and get lost on your beach. Lost.
That would be really funny if it's like, this is just a relaxation program, and then people just wash up and they're like, help us, and then zombies are chasing them and you have to climb in their dinghy and swim away. That would be interesting. Yeah, second is Minecraft. Third is Grand Theft Auto 5. What? I've never even played it, but I think I might own it. I think it came with something that I have on Steam. I don't know. Some of these aren't fair. Wii Sports, that came with a lot of Wii units. Like,
Yep.
seriously, you buy the Wii, it comes with it. Same thing with Mario Kart. My Wii came with Mario Kart and Wii Sports. I don't think that counts.
Came with
Super
Mario
Mario Brothers. Didn't that come with the original NES?
I don't know, but we had it.
I mean, like, everyone did. So, I don't know. Some of these don't really count. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is weird because that was the highest selling game last year, and it was still in like beta testing. It was an early access game, so they were still like tweaking it, and it was still the highest selling game. I'm just looking for Portal right now. Skyrim's up there. Super Mario Brothers Wii. Diablo 3. I would have thought Diablo 2 outsold Diablo 3 because I rebought Diablo 2 like 6 times between when it came out in 1997, 96, 97, and when I stopped playing it last, which was probably like 10 years later.
Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Yeah, Pokemon's there. Modern Warfare 2, Wii Fit, doesn't count. Frogger,
Lemmings,
wow.
Terraria.
Terraria's up there,
Brain
20
Age.
million, Brain Age, Call of Duty Ghosts, Super Mario Land, Grand Theft Auto. Wow, I thought Portal was way higher on this list.
We didn't pass Pac-Man either. More Pizza said Pac-Man, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's probably should have been maybe that was more of a
I think that was
arcade.
Yeah,
not
I think it
counting
was.
the
People probably spent a lot of money on it, but they
Yeah.
probably didn't own it as much. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, this has been us extolling the virtues of video games. Thanks for joining in the chat. I appreciated all of your input.
there was some excoriation as well.
Yes, of course. I mean, I extol, you excoriate. Homing. Dream Pilots, Plot Twist, Pac-Man. I find it interesting that top-selling games are about fitting squares. Dang it.
That's right. Minecraft and Tetris.
Fitting squares together. Yes. Yes. They're
Fitting squares together while you're fitting squares.
true. Long
Just
with
kidding.
bricks. There is something,
nerds.
and you said this is the final point I'll make, and it's about Minecraft. The reason they have the characters so blocky is you can play that on literally any device
Yeah.
with the proper operating system.
I know.
I saw a video of someone playing Minecraft on a smartwatch.
That sounds really
Some-
hard.
Somebody had hacked it. Oh yeah, it was impossible.
Oh.
But they'd hacked it just right, and you could tell it wasn't like fake because the menu looked different. Like it was set up to work on a smartwatch, and the graphics are so simple. with the little they call them voxels, this 3-dimensional pixels of just, you know, things are in this block of space or they're not. It's a very, very simple graphics. It'll run on everything, which is why
Like Linux.
like everything, which is why they sold 144 million copies. So the reason it's that simple, it also, the reason it's enjoyable is because it is that simple. It's very easy on your brain. Something like Far Cry, with its insanely detailed forests and jungles and mountains and wildlife and random occurrences of bears. Far Cry is so intricate of a game. I was chasing a guy on a mountaintop. I was on a motorcycle, and he was in a giant truck. And I drive up beside him because he's bringing weapons to bad guys. I drive up beside him, and I'm about to like shoot the driver in the car. A rhinoceros, a randomly generated rhinoceros, randomly saw us and rams his car off the road right before I'm about to shoot him. Just randomly happened.
Sure, this wasn't Jumanji.
Yeah, no, but it's weird because those are just random occurrences that happen, and it just happened to happen right as I was about to shoot the guy. That's an intricate game. Minecraft, it's Legos on PC. Ooh, Far Cry 5 comes out this month. All right, we're way over time. I appreciate you guys being here today. We're talking about video games. I can go all night. That's right. I forgot. Probably not the same thing I forgot. Maybe tonight, Mondays and Thursdays, I've started streaming on my old channel again. If you don't know, if you're not subscribed, oh man, this thing starts to itch after about an hour. That's how I know we're over time. If you're not subscribed, it's in the description below this video. Are we still live? It says here we're not.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It was lying. It's in the description. My old channel. I stream Mondays and Thursdays at midnight for just 10-15 minutes playing some songs. I want suggestions. I want what do they call that? Requests. So tonight I'll be streaming at midnight my time, which is in 2.5 hours.
So you want us to tell you what to do?
I want you guys to give me content. Was all I'm saying. No, I want recommendations of what you'd like me to play. I'll be sitting at the piano, singing, playing. I have a video up stream I did Monday. That was my first one. I'll be doing another one tonight. And I'm going to be taking requests, probably not playing them, but taking them and then learning them and then playing them next time. But hopefully that's going to be a thing.
What's it called? Where can people find it?
It's linked below. It's my old channel, Music. I think it's still called Music Matthew Wood, but I'm going to change the title because the streaming series is called Midnight Music with Matt because my alliterations are just beautiful.
I don't like alliterations, but I like the sound of that.
Really?
So.
Oh. I tried to name my last band Moonshine Mormon. Everybody got offended. I was like, it's just it rolls off the tongue, Moonshine Mormon, but it has connotations or something. Do Yellow by Coldplay. That was already on my list for tonight. You're gonna have to come up with something else. All right, we are ditching. If you have recommendations, you can go comment them on my last video, which is at the link below, and you can tune in tonight. Go to my other channel, even if you're subscribed already. You got to click the bell. The bell wasn't there when people subscribed to my channel 5 years ago when I used to post on it. So you got to click the bell. It'll let you know, hey, he's streaming. If you want to watch, tap here. So super simple way for you to enjoy some late night piano and crooning. Oh, see, I had it pulled up. Then guess what happened?
What?
Had to restart the whole computer. Every week, this is not pulled up when it's time to end, and I search for it and just keep talking. I found it. I've already said all my outro stuff.
Oh, okay.
I know. All right. Yellow by Coldplay. Hurry. before we leave, somebody else. Give me something else. You have about 20 seconds. Anything else? What's your favorite game of all time? I didn't even ask you.
Favorite game?
Favorite video game you ever played? Like the best experience. Not like my favorite to go back and play.
It's either got to be Portal or To the Moon, and they
To
both
the Moon. Ooh.
they both involve the moon, which is funny.
Yeah. Smash Mouth. Aw, Tetrion. Hey. Hi, how are you? Anyway. All right, well, we're done.